Welcome to Good Books Lately, where we have been acquiring lots of good books lately. My name is Tayler.
And I'm Branden.
And we want to share with you guys today some recent thrift store pickups. I guess you could call this a book haul.
Book haul, big book pickup.
Book pickup. I think that we've been really focusing a lot on trying to find books at thrift stores. I mean, number one, it saves a ton of money.
Yeah.
It's less consumptive and all of that. So.
Yeah, and it's really fun to have something to be pinpoint looking for when you go out.
Yeah, today we went through, it was like antique shopping.
Antique shopping.
Outside of town. So we live in Henderson, Nevada, and there's a town outside of town called Boulder City. And it's a really cool community, and they've got lots of really awesome antique stores. And it felt good to kind of walk through an antique store with the thought in your mind of looking for cool books.
Usually I'm just wandering aimlessly through those places.
Now we have something to look for.
Hunting. Yeah.
When we were at the actual thrift store's Goodwill the other day, it was like you feel like you're like really perusing.
Yeah.
It's cool. I like it. So that's what we're going to do today. Branden has his stack over there and I have my stack over here. We don't know much about these books necessarily. We just know that they're either in our want to read or something, or we're just interested in them. So we're just going to go through quick fire and show you what we've got.
Yeah.
And that's it. So you want to start?
And I picked up this one. It's Star Wars, X-Wing Rogue Squadron. I love Star Wars books. I've read a bunch of them. This is, this is one that I've kind of been the series of books that I've been thinking about getting into. It's from the, I guess, Legacy series now that it's no longer the Disney franchise.
Is
it's
this
not canon.
No,
this is not canon. But it's, from what I hear, one of the better series in the Star Wars book universe. But yeah, I'm excited because it kind of takes place after the New Hope, the original Star Wars, but I'm not sure. I think it has some of the characters that I know from the original movies and other ones in places. But yeah, I've always been a great Star Wars reader.
Book number one.
Book number one.
All right.
Where are you?
Okay, my book number one. This came from, so this actually wasn't a thrift store pickup. This was a free library pickup. There's a coffee shop near us that has a free library, and I grabbed this from there, and then we dropped off like 4 books over there as well. So this is called Verity, get in there, by Colleen Hoover. I don't know anything about this book. It sounds intriguing. And I picked it up because it was something I had read the synopsis on Goodreads and added it to my want to read. Everybody says it's great, and I guess there's a movie coming soon. So I picked up Verity. I'm excited about that. So if you have any thoughts on Verity, let me know.
All right, and then I will go to this one. It's hard to glare. This one I saw at Savers. It says on the back here. It's Alfred Hitchcock's presents the Master's Choice 27 tantalizing stories selected by the world-renowned connoisseur of the ultimate in mystery and suspense. I picked it up largely because I knew Taylor's a huge Hitchcock fan. I like the movies as well, and I thought it'd be kind of a cool, maybe, pick one to read at night before bed or something.
There was something, so you got this for $3.99 at Savers, and there's a line in this that he writes in his introduction. It's at the very end. He says, and with that in mind, you must certainly be aware of a murderous inflationary spiral. Economists call it an erosion of buying power, so that no matter what you pay for this volume, that sum a few years hence will be worth approximately 7 cents. And so I thought it was kind of funny that he mentions this being whatever it costs when you buy it as a first edition to what it costs now, and we picked it up at a thrift store. Yeah. I'm excited about that. I love it. I'm going to quiet our wind chime really quick. Actually, no, I'm not. It's not too noisy today. That's fine. You might hear a wind chime. It's right outside this window. Just, hey, what are we going to do?
Yeah, you're up.
All right, my turn.
Next one.
Okay, so I'm going to do these two together. I have in our library Wolf Hall by Hilary Mantel. It's a story about Thomas Cromwell and all of the goings-on and intrigue in the court of King Henry VIII at that time. I don't know much else other than that because I haven't read it, but it sounds like it's right down my alley. I'm a big C.J. Sansom fan. I love the Shard Lake series, and so I picked up that book a while ago. Well, I was at Savers, so this one came from Savers, and I found this one. This one, I believe this is the 3rd in the trilogy. So this is a trilogy of the Wolf Hall. It's the Wolf Hall trilogy. This one's called The Mirror and the Light. And then we were at Goodwill that same day we were kind of going on like a thrift store like crawl,
dragging the boys along.
Yeah, we were taking our boys with us. They got Slurpees. But I found Bringing Up the Bodies. This one is also by Hilary Mantel, second in the trilogy. So I'm excited about this. This one is about, it says the sequel to Hilary Mantel's international bestseller and Man Booker Prize winner Wolf Hall explores one of the most mystifying and frightening episodes in English history, the downfall of Anne Boleyn. So I got those two. I can't remember how much this was. I think it was like $3.99. So $8 for both of these. And this one's a little rough around the edges. This one's in beautiful condition. So loving those.
All right. My next one is
get in there.
Right there. Yeah. It's going to be hard to read on the screen anyway. Snow Falling on Cedars by David Gutterson. Picked this one up largely because when I did my Storygraphs profile and did the, what do they call it, survey?
Yeah.
This was one of those recommended books for me based on my interest, I guess. And I read the synopsis. Sounds pretty cool about a kind of a fisherman found dead or drowned, and then there's a trial for murder. It's like a kind of a whodunit kind of thing. But yeah, I read one from my Storygraphs like recommended thing, and I enjoyed it. So I figured I'd try another one. And I found this one at Savers or on that trip as well.
$3.50.
Yeah. And so I'm into it. Cool. And I'm going to, crack into it hopefully by the end of the month or by the end of June.
I, over on the podcast, my podcast channel, somebody said that they had read that and thought it was really good. I had never really heard much about it.
Yeah, and it won the Penn Faulkner Award.
Hey!
So it's got credentials.
All right, cool. Okay, I also am going to do these three together because I found all three of these at a used bookstore on the other side of town in like a real crazy neighborhood. It's kind of an unusual place to find a bookstore. And I found these there. And these are the Will Thomas... Okay, I feel like I'm going to start talking like I know what I'm talking about. All I know is that these are books that take place, I want to say, Victorian England. And there is an... Is this the first one? Hold on. Which one is the first one? So I believe Some Danger Involved. Let me just show you. Okay. Look. Get in there. Okay. So it starts with Some Danger Involved, an atmospheric debut novel set on the gritty streets of Victorian London. That's just right down my alley. Some Danger Involved introduces Detective Cyrus Baker and his assistant Thomas Llewellyn as they work to solve the gruesome murder of a young scholar in London's Jewish ghetto. I mean, it has everything for me. Yeah. I love it. And the Victorian part of it, like, just look at this picture.
No. Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's right. It's just right down my alley. So I found all three of them in the trilogy at that bookstore.
Yeah.
And I picked them all up, and I can't remember how much I paid. I think it was like, I think I paid $15 for all three. Great deal. So that's my next. That was my next thrift store pickup.
Are these right there?
Yeah. There's a lot of blood.
I have realized that I enjoy reading Stephen King novels.
Yeah, you really have.
And it kind of just snuck up on me. I've always kind of slowly, or not slowly, but I've had some Stephen King experience before. We listened to Fairy Tale.
So good.
I listened to, what is it, 11
you did what is 19,
the one about JFK's assassination. And then I also read Faithful because I'm a huge Red Sox fan, and he wrote that book with Stephen O'Nan, I believe is the other author, about that first World Series. And so I've always kind of liked the way he wrote. And then a couple months, this month, I read Billy Summers on a recommendation that I saw on somebody else's book talk thing.
Yeah.
And then I was talking to our neighbor, and he's a huge Stephen King fan. Right. And he told me that his favorite was the Mr. Mercedes, Bill Hodges trilogy. And so we were at another used bookstore 2 weeks ago. I picked up Mr. Mercedes and flew through that. I think it took me
you were like into it.
A week to read.
Yeah.
Really loved it. I was gripped. And then so at two different stores this last 2 days, I picked up the hardback versions of the second Finders Keepers and the third in the trilogy, End of Watch. And then once I get through these, my plan is to pick up Holly because I know she's the character.
She's in this. This is where
she's
Holly
in this
is
series.
Introduced? Okay.
So
all
she's in these. So yeah, I'm super excited to get these in there. Now I need to go back and get a hardcover for
That's
the
where I'm at with those
Mr. Mercedes
books, yeah.
because I got the paperback version and now I want to get the hardback so they look Nice and pretty.
It's such a
on the shelf.
funny thing. Like when you read a book that's a paperback because you don't want to commit to a hardback, or you for whatever reason you just happen to get a paperback, and then you end up loving the book. Saw. And you're like, I want the. That's what I with Ordinary Monsters. I just got the hardback, and so we put the paperback in our little free library, which will give you a tour of our little free library that we have out in front of our house in a future video. My turn.
Yep.
Okay. I didn't mean to grab both of these. Okay, so I already had in my library Murder on Black Swan Lane by Andrea Penrose. There it is. I've never read this, but it's been on our bookshelf, and it's kind of another one of those, like, I don't think this is Victorian. I almost want to say this is Regency. It's, one of those times. Regency, Victorian, it's one of those times. I found the third, I think, in that series. So I think it's a trilogy. Yeah, so it's Murder on Black Swan Lane, Murder at Half Moon Gate, and then Murder at Kensington Palace. I found Murder at Kensington Palace at the same bookstore where I picked up the Will Thomas trilogy. So I'm really excited about that because, again, we have murder.
Survive.
We have England. We have guys in top hats and like those
mysterious foggy roads.
Foggy roads with gates.
Yeah,
I love it.
Perfect. Okay, I'll go on. This is my last. We've got so many other ones that we had to whittle this down, but let's see if I can get the glare. There we go. Yeah.
Lonesome Dove.
Lonesome Dove by Larry McMurdy. Only reason I'm picking up this book is because of the
Books
are sick.
Yeah.
Nick, he read it. He praises for it. I'm, following him on the Patreon, and the people on there are reading it because of that too. So I picked that up at one of the little libraries near us, the free little libraries in our kind of 5-mile radius that we've had. Yeah, we have a few good ones. So I found that it's a little worse for wear.
Rough.
It's loved, right? You can see it's fraying, and it's the bindings coming off. So I'm gonna crack that open. It'll be in probably my first almost 1,000-page.
Yeah. What
book.
does it smell like?
Oh, it probably smells like the West.
It
But then
smells like tacos.
In Savers again, I found the second in the Lonesome Dove series. I don't know anything about it, but I thought the cover was cool. It's got the dust jacket. It looks in pretty great shape.
It looks really good.
There's an inscription in here of who owned it, I think. But yeah.
Do you know Marty Robbins?
Yeah.
Okay,
of course I know Marty Robbins.
I know you know that, of course. But there's a song called Streets of Laredo.
Right.
I'm going to sing it.
Copyright strike?
I kind of want to. Well, if I sing it, it's not going to get copyright strike.
I don't know. You got a voice of an angel.
As I walked out in the streets of Laredo. As I walked out in Laredo one day.
Yeah.
I don't know how it goes.
Yeah, that's mine.
Okay, I've got one more.
One more.
This one I picked up in the bookshop section of our local library where they sell hardback books for $2. It almost makes me feel
hardbacks for $2.
Hardbacks for $2, paperbacks for $1, and
junior
then
books for $1.
Yeah, it's really inexpensive and it's awesome. This one is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. I picked this one up for $2. It's in fantastic shape.
Yeah, it's brand new. It looks like somebody stole it from Barnes & Noble.
Yeah, it does. It's brand new. This is something I added to my want to read because the story just sounded compelling to me. It's a woman who kind of makes a deal. Okay, so I'm telling you this from vague. I've read the synopsis maybe once. I think she makes some kind of a deal with the devil kind of a situation where she wants to be able to live forever or live for a really long time.
This sounds really good.
By doing that, she won't be remembered by anyone. So she will just have nobody will ever remember her. Except one day down the road, she happens to be somewhere and somebody remembers her. And that's kind of the story. And it's funny because this was written in 2020. No. I don't even think it was written. Yeah, 2020. And that movie, what is it called? Age of Adeline.
Is it the same thing?
Addie is Adeline in this book, and then there's this movie with Harrison Ford and Rachel McAdams or something. Not Rachel McAdams. It's Blake Lively. Blake Lively. It's that movie. That movie is very similar to this, and so
I think it's the same title, but not similar.
But
at all.
not, and they were done at different or whatever. So I found this, and I'm excited about it because it sounds like it's just the kind of. I don't know. It sounds like it's right down my alley, as I like to say. This one is mine right here.
I'm gonna put you on the spot.
Yeah.
Of these, which one are you most eager to dive into?
That's a really good question. Honestly, I would have to say off the top of my head, I'm most intrigued by the Will Thomas trilogy. Because I have all of them now, and because of the inspector and he has like an assistant, I like that dynamic. So I would say the Will Thomas trilogy is catching my eye here.
I think the Invisible Life, if I would get a kick out of that.
You would like that? We could even read that one together, maybe.
For sure.
Okay, so what about you then?
I think mine is easy. I want to get into this really well written, great story. The first one was amazing. I'm hoping the next two are great. My neighbor says they are.
We have to be really careful with this one, just like the first one.
Oh, I know.
We leave this book around the house. We have 2 little boys, one 9 and one 6.
Yeah.
And they're the sweetest little boys.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
You know, they see
I can take, at least this one I can take the...
You can take the cover.
The dust jacket
Give them
off.
the bloody, gory details of this cover.
Yeah, this is not the nicest cover.
I mean,
for those,
look at get in there. Look at it's like shiny, but it's so bloody.
Oh yeah, it's dripping blood on a book.
When we play like our violent video games, like
all
Witcher
those
3, and we don't play a lot of games. We played The Last of Us,
Red
Witcher
Dead.
3, and Red Dead. I mean, obviously the children cannot be around for things like that, but you know, gotta be careful.
Yeah.
So,
but also this one,
that's
this is like a what do you call that? Like a
runner up.
Yeah, runner up, but also like a kind of guilty pleasure.
Yeah,
kind of like
why not?
You know, nerdy, geeky.
Didn't we have the paperback of A New Hope?
Yeah.
But I think we got rid of it.
I think we sold it or donated it.
Donated it or something, yeah.
Yeah, but I didn't. The paperback of The New Hope I think was written after the movie was made. Or I don't know.
Something about it that wasn't as special or unique.
It was also different. That's our haul.
Yeah, that's our big haul, and it's not even everything, but you know, whatever.
Yeah.
I think that it's important to emphasize, in my opinion, personally, that hauls like this are fun when you are buying them secondhand. And it's not costing a ton of money. This really, for all of this, it's not as much as you. I mean, can you imagine how much this would cost if you were buying these books at Barnes and Noble? I mean, there's a time for both things.
Yeah.
And so we had fun doing this. We're trying to build out our library as we have reconnected with reading.
Personal little library.
And so we've been trying to add books to our library and doing it in the most frugal way possible, where possible.
Yeah.
And so we kind of have fun doing that. But yeah, this is it. This is our haul. Hope you guys enjoyed. Yeah. If you took value from today's video, don't forget to give the video a thumbs up.
Like it. Subscribe it.
All of those little doodaddy things.
Get notified by it. Comment
Leave us a comment.
If you've read any of these.
Yes.
What you think.
What is your top of
what are we in for?
Here? What do you think of each of our little pickups? Do you think we should read first?
Yeah.
Let us know.
For sure.
And we look forward to seeing you guys in the next one. Have a great rest of your day.
Yeah.
Bye. Pepper girls here to share the day. Like where it's like right in front of our faces.
Let's do it like this.
Oh gosh, oh jeez, oh Lord.